Alright, I'm just working on putting this thing back together. This is my Panasonic model number WJ-AVE5 digital video mixer, audio and video mixer. Got this thing off of eBay. Seller said it was fully functional. Well, that stupid idiot. Judging from what he told us when we later on got in contact with him, in order to just kind of try to give this back and get our money back. What was going on was he put it into like a closet or something like years and years ago, and back then it worked. And then he got it out, just remembered that it worked back when he put it into the closet, and just put it up on eBay without any further testing, saying that it was still working. Well, fact is it doesn't work. It has bad capacitors inside of there, so only thing you're going to get out of there is a black and white picture, which is of course not exactly what I would like to have. Now, this was supposed to become part of my little studio setup, but since I decided to end up the studio project simply because it was not needed, I'm now going to put this back up on eBay. I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to say that it's not working, so won't be getting back as much money as I paid for this. Paid €70, and that was already a pretty good deal. Sometimes these things can go for a bit more money. But anyway, so I won't be able to make any kind of a demo. For one thing, I don't want to hook everything up once again, and the other thing is, of course, it's all in black and white. But I just wanted to show you a bit of a close-up of this thing and show you some of the features and functions, at least the way they are, being as labels of those buttons. So we zoom in, and there we have for the audio mixer, we get an audio level meter, which does even have a peak hold. So that's quite a bit of a high-tech thing. Now over here we have the power switch, and then it's getting complicated. Now here we have the back color selector. You get a set of different colors that you can select, and get back to that later on. This is the wipe mode. You get different transitions with all these 5 buttons here, and depending on the way how you combine them, I mean, you don't get only 5 transitions. You can combine them together, and so you get, I don't know how many, 20 plus different transitions. It's a lot. This is picture-in-picture. It just puts the picture of source 1 or source 2, depending on what you've selected, into the other picture. It's kind of self-explaining, actually. This is multi. I don't know what that did. Here we have one way, and here we have reverse. Now, one way is like when you have a wipe going on, like from depending on where you slide the this thing. Usually you can, for example, have the picture wipe over from left to right, or from right to left, or whatever. And with the one way, it always goes in one way. No, just not depending on how you which direction you slide this the fader in. Reverse reverses the 2 images in the transition effect. Now, here we have, this is digital effect. You can have it, that's your on switch, and then you can have of both source A and source B. This is a mixer for 2 sources, A and B. It's not one of the fancy units that can handle 4 sources or even more. You get different digital effects, just basically the standard of back in the early 90s. Still, strobe, mosaic, and paint, or paint art, whatever. Here we have the superimpose. There is another camera input for a camera, and you were supposed to hook up a black and white camera, I think. And when you put that in front of something with a very high contrast, like black letters on a white surface, you could have the letters superimposed into the picture. So this was basically a poor man's titling affair, and it's also good for some special effects, I guess. But and all kinds of various different functions there. I never tried that feature, so I can't really tell you all too much about that. Record video out. You can either record source A or source B directly, or your effect, which you know, basically if you select either A or B, you can just bypass this whole thing. Down here we have the fade control. This is a, well, just basically fades the video in and out. Video fade to back color, I guess that means. That's of course always what you can select up there. White title, I guess that fades in the title, or black. And there was a titling unit, title generator, that you could hook up right there on the front of the unit. There is a microphone input for narration. It says hi-fi right here. It's not stereo. Or actually it is stereo, sorry. Here is the audio mixer, your two main sources, 1 and 2. That is, of course, corresponding with the video part. This knob is broken. You can basically fade back and forth between the two, and this button is really broken. Gotta mention that. Anyway, and then you get a different source, auxiliary, microphone, that's of course the jack on the front, and the master. That's of course all working together with that level meter. And down here, this is actually the mixer. As I said, this is the fading control for video, source B or source A. And this selects what actually is A and B. You can either have source 1, source 2, or the back color. And you can just basically select one of the two, one of the three actually, and fade between the two. Mix is, well, that's basically your standard fading into each other, just mixing the two pictures together. And then you have wipe. That's of course what this up here is. And when you're doing a picture-in-picture, you can have different effects for a picture-in-picture as well. You can have a picture as a square or rounded or different shapes. And with this little lever called a positioner, and that's correct, this positions the picture in the picture. It's a potentiometer setup of some sort. On the back of the unit you get a load of different features. This is all for source 1. You get the stereo audio input, super video in, regular composite video in, and a monitor out, which just loops the input signal through and gives it back to a monitor. And the signal coming out of the monitor outputs is actually fine, so the error must be sitting in the circuitry right behind that. This is the same thing, once again, for source 2. This is the external camera in. That's the camera that's used for the superimposing effect. You can have it in either super video or composite, so I guess, well, I guess it's not supposed to be just for black and white cameras. You can go with color as well. Auxiliary audio in, and right here, I'm running out of tape. Oops. That went quick. This is the record video out 1. You get the audio out, super video out, and composite video out. Record video out 2, which is the same thing again. And then right here we have preview. which gives you the signal for a preview monitor, and as far as I know, it just gives out the same signal that it gives out to the record video outputs. And here is the inside of the video mixer. As you can see, there is a lot of electronics going on inside of here, and that's why I'm not even trying to fix this. I don't think I'll be able to do it. That's of course where all the controls sitting. That circuit board up there. Get more circuit board down here, which is all shielded with a metal cover, so I guess this is where all the video processing takes place. Down there is the power supply, and right there is the board with the inputs on it. And I had the whole thing taken apart far enough to be kind of able to reach that circuit board, because I thought that might be that might be the place where the bad capacitors are sitting on. But well, anyway, I don't care. I'm going to put this thing up on eBay, and that's the end of that story. So hope you've enjoyed this video, and see you again soon.